Flowers of gold,
Flowers of gold,
flowers of gold.
flowers of gold.
We're holding hands, understanding what life's about. All right, just want to welcome everyone to the 800 show. Now I've got Nathan Lou, Mr. Shampoo, and I've got to say, he's just a fantastic guy. He's a performer in his own group. All you need is Love Beatles tribute band. But not only that, he's a real person that really cares about the world. And that's why when he comes on the interviews and he does stuff, he knows exactly what he's doing because he's a true professional. How are you, Nathan?
I'm doing great, Plastic, and hi, everyone. And Plastic, I'd like to congratulate you on your 800 show.
Thank you.
And I'm here today to talk about Plastic EP. And, I know Plastic fairly well. And, in this world, there's sometimes only one person and only going to have one of them. And Plastic is that person. I think that Plastic's mission, it was to report pop culture and interview people that we are interested in. And this show is amazing because it comes from Melbourne, Australia. And, most shows are all done in one city, but when Plastic does his shows, they're rarely done in Australia. They're, in England, Canada, Russia, California, anywhere in the United States and all over the world. And, Plastic is always on the, for an interview. So he's always available, which makes it great. So we're always entertained. And during the COVID, Plastic jumped on it and gave us the greatest interviews and, anywhere from game shows to authors to movies and anything to do with pop culture. And the great people of this world, there's always maybe just one. And Plastic happens to be that one. And the greatest thing about the Plastic EP show is when you see us all in our little boxes, the guests always look like humans, we're all earthlings. But if you look at Plastic EP's box, that's why I gravitated to Plastic, because I saw one of his episodes. So I contacted him and he responded back to me. But if you look at that little box, his background is like nobody else's. The unique thing about Plastic EP is after a while, you don't realize it, but this is what he does in his interviews that's different than anybody else. He's got these glasses, what I'm going to put on. I don't do that. So Plastic EP has these glasses, and people don't know that Plastic EP is also a music artist, and he had a band back in 1981 that he started, and it was called Plastic EP and the Records. A year later, the band changed their name simply just to the EPs. But when Plastic decided to do these shows, he kept the name Plastic EP. And when I first met Plastic, it was tough to call him that, and I didn't really understand. So he told me one day, Plastic EP stands for a record that's made out of plastic, and EP stands for extra long play, not Elvis Presley. But anyways, what makes it unique about Plastic is, we're mates and we talk all the time. And he's really just an earthling. But as soon as he puts on the glasses, it's like, if you ever seen the Terminator, it's futuristic, it's cosmic, and he's like, I'll be back. And it's very unique. I think Plastic EP is a very lucky individual because people trust him in his interviews. And the greatest thing about what Plastic EP does is he produces all his shows himself. He does all the jingles, like all the songs opening the shows. He does countless hours of editing. He just knows what he wants. And Plastic EP believes in giving the best and reporting of any kind of pop culture. There's nothing like it on the net. This is a time where we were at home during COVID, and Plastic EP show is commercial free. Nobody tells him what to do. He's his own boss. He produces everything. And that's quite amazing because people just think he just gets on the show and does it. But behind the scenes, I'm his friend. I know that he works really hard with the editing, especially the editing. He doesn't just do a live show. He wants these shows to be very entertaining. And it takes a lot of work to do that. I couldn't do it. I'm his friend and I'm his co-host, but I know what goes behind the scenes with the Plastic EP show. So does Vicky. Plastic EP doesn't have a time zone. If you have an interview, he will put that time aside, and it's always fun, entertaining. And the thing I love about watching the Plastic EP show is these guests really trust them and want to tell them their story. And there are facts and stories that no one's ever heard. And that's what, if I was not knowing Plastic EP, I would love that show, his show, because I'm learning things that I've never heard before. You watch these biographies and you always hear it over and over, the same old thing, which is fine. But for diehard fans, it's nice to hear fresh material that I've never heard. I can't even count on my hands how many, if somebody said, what are your favorite Plastic EP shows? And I would say, there's too many. There's just too many. And this one's great because of this reason. One of my favorite episodes of interviews was Liberty DeVito from Billy Joel, the drummer. I thought that was a fantastic interview because he wanted to tell Plastic. He wanted to tell Plastic everything. And there was so much that I didn't know. I haven't gone back to watch these interviews, but one day I'm going to do that and I'll discover more, because it's been such a quick journey in 2 years. I mean, almost 800 interviews to date. That's unheard of. And Plastic EP is one of the only individuals I know that doesn't compete with anybody but himself. He's always competing against himself and challenging himself for the world, because he loves pop culture. And it's great to see that the guests love to tell their stories just to him. Also, what makes Plastic unique than anybody else on this universe is he wears the signature glasses that he had in 1981 with Plastic EP in the records. And these glasses have survived. Now, I know Plastic quite well. There was a time that he lost these glasses for a couple of weeks. And the world didn't know it, but I knew it. And he just barely made it through. And because it wasn't, I'll tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, truly, these glasses transform him into Plastic EP. You must believe me. I talk to him all the time on FaceTime. It's not the same person. When he wears those glasses, that's what makes Plastic EP. That is the truth. And Plastic knows if he lost them, it would be a tough time for him. I don't think he could do it without the glasses. It's just something that the glasses and him. Isn't that right, Plastic?
Yeah, that's right. If I take the glasses off, you're just talking to a regular Joe. We talk all the time. You know that. But the minute I put those glasses on, I'm in character. I'm Plastic EP. I'm like something that is not there. You know that.
And what makes Plastic a great interviewer is that, and he knows the right questions to ask. There are some individual that has accused him of having glasses with a computer screen on it, and Plastic can get any question he wants. So, that's what's so funny, because they don't understand the glasses. But I'm telling you,
I don't see no computer.
Plastic EP does know his stuff. To me, he's the greatest pop culture interview in the universe, and he's my friend. But he does a wonderful job, and congratulations to you, Plastic, because you do produce your own shows, you produce your own jingles, you produce your own graphics, you produce your own ideas, you do your own editing. Now, actually, ladies and gentlemen around the world, I want you to know that Plastic puts more time into his editing than he does with anything else. Is that not true, Plastic?
It's true.
The man relentlessly waits for all this stuff to upload before he goes to bed. That is the honest truth, because he's my friend and he tells me. Isn't that right, Plastic?
I'm 24/7. People got no idea. I'm 24/7. It's what it is. That's the commitment I have for the world. It's not just for me, it's for the world. If I have to get up 4:30 in the morning or 2:30 or AM, doesn't matter. I do the interview and I do it to entertain people. I haven't done this to make $1. My motive is not money. My motive is to make the world happy.
And Plastic and I have often talked that, one day, 20 years or 40 or whatever years it's going to go that him and I are not here, these shows will be preserved in a time capsule for the future for people to watch and find out things that were never written. And, when these fabulous people are interviewed, it comes from their own words out of their mouths. It's not written by a book and it was second party hearsay. these are people that are telling their story to Plastic because they trust him. And myself, I think that Plastic was chosen and his mission was to report pop culture to the world, not just to Australia, to the world. And people know who he is because you're unique. You know, you don't copy nobody. And that's why I said, there's only one Bruce Lee, there's only one Wayne Gretzky, there's only one Plastic EP.
Who do you know, first of all, that's got a name, Plastic EP? Who do you know that's got a theme song, Hey Bananas, We Think You're Groovy, right? Which is worldwide, right? And everybody knows him from the theme song. And who do you know does interviews with people that nobody expects?
Plastic EP, I believe that the stars were aligned for you to do these great interviews and hook up with these wonderful people, and they're telling their stories to you. Who do you know that has a song like Hey Bananas, I Think You're Groovy, that was written by the guy that does the interviews? I mean, when you have total control of your shows, there's nothing that can beat that, because when you want something done, sometimes you've got to do it yourself. And believe me, if you understand wheels and pistons and engines, Plastic EP's brain's always thinking. He knows what he wants. Once he's got the idea, he really does. I know him well enough. He knows what he wants. And that's what makes him great. And I believe that, you know, in Greek mythology, and Plastic is Greek, the stars were aligned for him to do his mission, which is report pop culture, love the world, and be unique. That is the greatest thing. I haven't even mentioned the gold jacket, but Plastic EP still has this gold jacket, and I think it's the greatest jacket. Just like the glasses, you copy no one, and you're unique, and stay that way because the world loves it.
Thank you, Nathan Lou. That was fantastic.
We're the latest creative pop sensation. Our music's taking over the nation. We're the latest creative pop sensation. We're a teenage pop sensation. Our music's climbing off the charts. We think our clothes are really smart. We're the latest teenage pop sensation. Our music's taking over the nation. We're the latest teenage pop sensation, yeah. We're really gear, yeah, yeah. We're the latest teenage pop sensation. Our music's taking over the nation. We're the latest teenage pop sensation.